Over the last 24 hours, it has rained so much that I think it's sent a lot of silt down the hill where our spring is, so I have to go up and clear some filters because we aren't getting much water down below. But we have two water tanks up here. We call that one our lower tank and that one our upper tank, and there is water overflowing from our upper tank. So that means, so we have our upper tank, we have two different catchment systems. Our upper tank has one that's up higher on the hill, and then this lower tank has the original catchment system right there, which I'll show you. And then we have it so that the overflow from the upper one goes down into the lower one, and then we feed off the lower one. That way, if we run out of water, we can always switch over and we have 1,500 gallons of water up there. But I have a feeling there's a clog, something going on, since that tank is overflowing and we're barely getting any water down below. Anyway, I wanted to bring you up here and show you how beautiful it is, because the little wildflowers are starting to bloom. Look at all those beautiful little dogtooth violets. Aren't those gorgeous? Here pretty soon the bleeding hearts will start blooming, and that's gorgeous too. See, they're just starting to come up now. Let's see. Well, that tank is full. I love how the moss grows on the outside of it. So that tank's full. Yeah, we're just getting a trickle down below. And that tank is full, which means we probably have something clogging the line going down the hill. Ugh, which is not what I wanted. Okay. Well. Oh, hey, here's some bleeding hearts that are blooming. Yeah, I'll let myself get distracted by the flowers and then I'll deal with the problem. Look at that. And there's a foxglove. We have quite a few foxgloves up here. We used to have it that the animals could come up to the hill, but a couple of years ago we put a fence across the back of the back pasture there so that we could put our cows in the back pasture, because our goats, they won't wander too far. They're worried about getting eaten by things up here in the woods. But our cows would have no problem hiking for miles and miles. There's the overflow for the spring. A couple of years ago we had a big windstorm and it took down quite a few big trees up here. Well, not big, but some alder. It really cleared it out quite a bit. So here is our upper catchment system. Now we have a little fence around it. But, you know, the trees fell on it. Ugh, aren't those skunk cabbage gorgeous? Let's see how far I sink in going across here. So what's really cool is that the water, it's a spring that starts just right up above this catchment system. And it comes down and we have a catchment system here that runs down to that upper tank. And the overflow goes over. And during the summer it gets a lot less. But what's interesting is it comes over and it goes under a root here. And then it flows over, and right now there's a little pool right here, but normally what it does is it drops down and disappears under the ground there, and then goes down about 20 feet under the ground, or about 20 feet down the hill, and then pops back up. But right now there's a lot of water, so it's flowing that way and around this big spruce tree. So okay, I'm going to turn you off while I clean the silt out of this, and then I will turn you back on. So now I've cleaned the filter for the upper catchment system, and now I have this thing here. And it's like partly open, partly closed, and I can't get it to open back up. I've had problems with these before. I've actually snapped the little handles off of these trying to open them. Oh, it's frustrating. And it's interesting because we have another handle up the hill here. I'll show it to you really quick. So that's the little opener for and closer for the upper tank. And I've never had a problem with that one. I've always been able to open it and close it, even when there's 1,500 gallons of water in the tank. So hopefully we can start getting that down the hill sooner rather than later. So this is the original catchment system that came with the property. And it's a well tile here that the water flows into, and then we have a pipe that comes out and runs into the lower tank. And then last summer, our handyman extraordinaire, Cliff, came up with the idea of putting sacks of concrete across here to dam up the water a little bit more, because in the summer the water level gets low enough and the tank is not far enough down the hill, as it's an elevation thing, that it won't fill completely, and so we lose a lot of water. And it actually worked out really well just to put full sacks of concrete, and they set, and there's a little gap there in the middle for a spillway. But it looks like it's kind of coming around the edge. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's coming around the sides now. So we'll have to block it up a little bit more before this summer. But look at these beautiful skunk cabbage. There's some that are in flower down the hill. They do have a certain odor, but they are gorgeous. And they're fine growing up here for us. The problem is that we don't want the goats, or we don't want them growing where the goats can get them, because if the goats eat them, they're not poisonous, but they will make their milk taste terrible. You can actually smell it in their milk. It's really an interesting thing. If one of them just has a few bites of it, it really can ruin a whole bulk tank full of milk. So, well, look at this. We've definitely got plenty of water. This is not good. So I'll take you down. Let's see. And then the spring just kind of oozles out into the pasture down there around the big spruce trees. And there's our cows. They came up to see what I was up to. And that's Buttercup on the left, over there, and that's Clover on the right. Now you can see that there's some trails here. See, there's a trail coming through here and there, and there's a pretty big one going across there. And that's where the elk come down off the hill a lot and go across. And then down there, so there's the gate right next to that tree right there. And then right there we have one of the livestock panels that we've used for the fence. We cut down and put a 2x6 across the top so that the elk can have an elk crossing and not rip our fence down, and also so that they can keep their babies with them, because very often if their babies get stuck at a fence, they'll just kind of keep going. And we figure they have to go back and get them eventually, but we like all the wildlife we have, and so we try to do whatever we can to accommodate them. Hi, Buttercup. What are you up to? What are you thinking? Oh, hi, Clover. How are you doing?